Good morning, peaceful place. How is everybody today? Teacher Brianna here. Now today, I would like to go on a trip with you. What do you say? You want to come on a trip? Let's do it.
Okay, guys, here we are, floating in outer space. We're in our spacesuits, in our rocket, flying down to Earth at light speed. Here we are, coming over to the continent of North America. Follow the squiggly line to see the exact landmass that makes up North America, the continent that we live on. Zooming in a little bit closer, we see our country. Our country, the United States of America. As you can see, inside the outline of yellow, our country, the United States of America. Let's zoom in a little bit closer, flying over all 50 states to land in the Pacific Northwest, our state, Washington State. As you can see, outlined in yellow, this is the shape of Washington State. Let's zoom in a little closer to our city, the city of Seattle. I've marked it with a big yellow star so you can see it shining bright like the city that it is. And let's go a little closer all through the squiggly waterways of the Puget Sound and over the freeways, the 99, I-5, all the way to the neighborhood of Madrona. As you can see, outlined in yellow, this is our neighborhood. Let's zoom in a little bit closer and see where we might be landing. Here we go, guys. Does anything look familiar? I think I recognize that white car. It looks like Teacher Erica's car at Peaceful Place, Montessori West. Wow, guys, that was quite a journey all the way through space, all the way through the continent of North America to the country of the United States of America, all the way to the state of Washington, to the city of Seattle, the neighborhood of Madrona, and the school Peaceful Place Montessori West. I can't wait to see you guys there again soon. What a great trip.
What an amazing trip, guys. That was so cool. We flew from space and we got to fly all the way back to our school. God, wouldn't that be so amazing to do in real life? Anyways, now I wanted to talk to you about something that we flew over, specifically the Puget Sound. The Puget Sound is a body of water in Seattle that is pretty cool. Remember all the squiggly blue lines that we flew over? Those are all different kinds of waterways that make up the Puget Sound. Now, have you guys seen the Puget Sound before? I bet you probably have. If you've ever been down to the aquarium or in downtown Seattle, that big body of water is the Puget Sound. Now, what is a sound? Is it something you hear? Yes, it is. I can make a sound, but that is a different kind of sound. This is a type of a body of water, and it is classified under the water form a strait. Now, you've probably studied a strait in the classroom at Peaceful Place, where you fill in the water and it flows between two bodies of land. Now, the actual definition of a sound is where a body of seawater or ocean water channel through two bodies of land. So if you've ever looked at the sound, you've probably seen some other land on the other side of it. That's because it is a sound. Pretty cool, huh? So, what are the two bodies of water that are mixing together to make our sound? Ours is the Pacific Ocean, the large Pacific Ocean that we share with other continents and other states, and also the Salish Sea. So that is what meets right there and creates our sound. So do you guys want to know some really cool facts about the Puget Sound? First thing I want to talk about is my favorite thing, the orcas. Do you guys know what an orca is? There are 11 different species of orca, and ours is different from the ones that you may see in the vast ocean that can travel from place to place. Those kind of orcas can eat meat, they can eat seals, they can eat pretty much whatever else is going on in the ocean. But our special orcas, we have named the J-pod. And as of 2018, there were only, let me get this right, 75 orcas left that are basically our Puget Sound orcas. And we have studied them. We know the whole family tree. We know all of their names. We know everything about them. But the interesting thing about them is they only eat Chinook salmon. And that's pretty much it. Could you imagine if you only ate one kind of food for the rest of your life? I couldn't, but they do. So we just need to make sure that that salmon doesn't go anywhere, because these orcas are very special. They can live up to 80 years old, sometimes even longer. So you can often go out and see them. Recently, you can see other kinds of orcas going through the Puget Sound as well. And recently, I think it was last week, they spotted a pure white orca traveling through with their pod. It's not from Seattle, but it was so cool. So there's all kinds of other animals that use the Puget Sound as a little channel to get to other bodies of water. What other kinds of marine life live in the Puget Sound? Well, I'm gonna tell you. So there are harbor seals who also like to eat Chinook salmon. There are sea lions also like to eat Chinook salmon. It's delicious. I've had it myself. I've cut down though because I want to save it for the orcas. There are also, see what other ones are here. Oh, there are squids. There are giant squids. There are octopus. There are zooplankton, which pretty much get eaten by everything.
But the one thing that lives in there that's a real bummer is pollution.
There is between 55,000 and 65,000 pounds of pollutants that get released into the Puget Sound every single day. That is a lot of pollutants, a lot of pollution, a lot of bad stuff, a lot of stuff we don't want to put in the water. So what can we do to help? Even little things that we can do to help. I've got a list here. We can talk about it. If your car has a leak, you can fix it, because the rain will come down, as it does in Seattle, and wash that yucky stuff that leaks out of your car back into the Puget Sound, or also our other lakes, which we don't really like. That's not so good. It's not really good for fish. I wouldn't like to be drinking any or living in anything that comes from my car. Ooh, would you? I don't think so. So we can do that. We can also practice natural yard care, not using poisonous, any weed killers or anything like that. We can use natural remedies instead. Another thing you can do is let the rain sink into your yard. Sometimes people actually will redesign their whole yard so that it will absorb all of the rain, because what happens when plants and the earth essentially absorbs the water is that it acts like a filter. Like you may have a water filter at home and you pour the tap water in and out comes delicious, tasty water. The earth acts like a filter. So the water will soak into the earth or into your yard, filter through, and you will have clean water then that goes back into the ocean or evaporate back up into the sky. So there's all kinds of things that we can do to be a little bit more conscious and help out with our big body of water, the Puget Sound. So now I would like to read a very interesting book about the Puget Sound. I hope you guys like it.
Granny's Clan, A Tale of Wild Orcas by Dr. Sally Hodson. In cold, dark waters, a tiny newborn struggles to breathe. Little one, I am here to help. Granny slips beneath her littlest great-grandchild. With a gentle push, she lifts him to the surface. The baby opens his blowhole and takes his first breath. A new life begins and an old life continues. Granny guides the baby to his mother, Samish. At his mother's side, the baby floats. They breathe and swim as one. Granny calls the family to welcome the newborn. Suttles meets her new baby brother. Mako greets his baby cousin. Near Granny rises the huge wavy fin of her son, Ruffles. One by one, each of the family surfaces to breathe. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Loud blasts of air and mist explode from each blowhole. Voices of the family surround the little one with songs of the Orca clan. Mothers and grandmothers, daughters, sons, brothers and sisters, uncles and aunties, grandsons and granddaughters gather to celebrate. The family travels on. They dive together, they rise together, they breathe together, they call to each other to keep the family together. They search for salmon to fill their hungry bellies. Without salmon, Granny's family cannot live. For 100 summers and 100 winters, the sea shared her secrets with Granny. Granny knows where salmon swim when tides change, or when winds shift, or when waters warm or winter storms blow. With Granny in the lead, the family spreads out to hunt. They swim through ribbons of dancing brown kelp, among seals searching for rockfish, near an octopus clutching a crab, above sea stars stretched over rocks, close to pelicans diving for fish snacks, under jellyfish drifting with tides. They swim past herons stalking on stick legs, beside sea otters dining on urchins, over hermit crabs hiding in seashells, around seabirds surfing on breakers, beneath bald eagles soaring with winds, by humpback whale playing in waves. Each of the family sends out beams of sonar clicks. Click, click, click. They listen as their sounds bounce off rocks, fish, and sea life. Echo, echo, echo. The echoes return as pictures made of sounds. In darkness, they see how big, far, fast, and what shape. Shark to the right, squid to the left, salmon ahead. With a burst of speed, they overtake the salmon. Calls to each other flow back and forth. Tail flukes slap the sea with thunder. Swirls of silver salmon flee. Empty orca bellies fill. At the edge of the hunt, Samish watches. Her rich milk feeds the newborn at her side. Ruffles catches a fish that tries to hide in a kelp. To Samish, he offers a gift of salmon. A call from Granny brings young Suttles and Mako to her. Both want to learn to be great hunters of salmon. With Granny's help, they learn to see outside and inside of shapes all around them. They can swift currents for echoes of salmon. They learn the sounds of each salmon clan, of sockeye and coho and chum and chinook. A salmon darts out from the safety of the rocks. Who will be the first to catch it? In a great rush, Suttles dashes after the fish, but the shimmering salmon slides out of her grasp into the waiting jaws of Mako. Bitten in two, the fish is shared by the young hunters. Graceful sailboats groan, swift speedboats whine, stout ferries clang,
Busy fishing boats chug. Huge tankers rumble. Noise drowns out the family's calls to each other. Toward the family, many boats hurry. Louder they howl. Faster they rush. Suttles and Makos still play in the waves. A speedboat races towards them. To the left it zigs, to the right it zags. Closer and closer, the speedboat zooms. Propeller blades scream of danger. Dive, dive. When they hear the family's warning, the cousins vanish beneath the waves. With a roar, the speedboat leaps over them. A boat with a flag reaches the speedboat and guides it away. The other boats slow down and quiet their engines. Suttles and Makos swim close to Granny's side. Around them hover boats filled with people watching. The cousins swim with Granny through the maze of boats. Granny spy hops. Mako spins a cartwheel. Suttles flips a headstand. The people laugh and clap, whistle and shout. The children wave their arms at Suttles and Mako. The cousins wave their fins at the children. The family seeks rest in a quiet cove. They gather close together and drift with the waves. Soft calls flow from one to another. They doze, they dream, they remember to breathe. Boom, crash, splat. Noise from loud splashes awaken the family. Mako and Suttles burst from the water, not ready to nap. Each tries to jump higher and faster and farther. Granny calls the noisy players to join her beneath the waves they created, far below the sleeping family. Granny teaches the young ones songs of the Orca clan. As Granny's lullaby ends, the singers return to quiet rest with the family. When the family awakens, Granny sings the song. When the family awakens, Granny sings the clan song of coming together. Through miles of deep water canyons, Granny's powerful voice travels to find the other clan families. From near and far, each family answers. The eldest clan grandmother with their own family call. We are coming. All the clan families, mothers and grandmothers, daughters and sons, brothers and sisters, uncles and aunties, grandsons and granddaughters come together again. A great super pod gathers. They greet old friends, they welcome new babies, they remember lost ones, they celebrate togetherness. Sounds of play fill the air and water. They mingle and touch, tumble and roll, spy hop and somersault. Fins splash, tails slap, bellies flop. Upside down tails wave in the wind. Mako wraps kelp around his tail, flukes and fins. Subtle balances a fat salmon on her head. With a flick of her tail, Granny slides beneath the waves. Deeper and deeper into darkness she dives. When she reaches sea bottom, she streaks toward the light. Water explodes beneath her as she leaps from the sea. When she can fly no higher, she spins, twirls, and returns to the sea. Water and wind bring distant voices to Granny. Not songs of other orca clans hunting for seals. Not songs of porpoises fishing for herring. Not songs of salmon searching for home. Granny knows these other voices that call. Standing on the rocky shoreline, people of all ages sing to honor the orcas. Swimming along the rocky shoreline, orcas of all ages sing their songs to the people. With Suttles, Mako, and the family beside her, Granny sings songs of her orca clan. Voices from the sea mingle in harmony with voices from the land. To people and orcas, the gift of friendship returns. No longer do they fear one another. Now they sing songs together and share the sea.